Alright, got another pre-recorded video here. Wanted to show this one because it's one of the most powerful runs I've ever had, I think, besides the 900% Mayhem one. So yeah, let's jump into this. I'm gonna start off by just showing off everything I got. And basically, in this run, minus some of the frost ones, I get exactly what you'd want with what I believe is one of the most powerful builds there is. And as you could see there, the summoner had already given me a lot of damage, and Mayhem is already on 274%, etc. This is a pretty crazy run. And here's my stats. You can pause the video if you want to look at them more than this. But yeah, it's a super powerful run, and I just started recording again. I couldn't talk at the time, but so I'm doing a voiceover now instead. Yeah, the build pretty much just consists of Warp Strike and Gem High, boosting all of the others. And in this run particularly, I'm also not using my dragon, as you can see, that I typically go with, just because I wanted to see, well, I wanted the God Blessings to speak for themselves in this run and see how truly powerful it is, and also just show that you definitely do not need to have a dragon. It is a pretty overpowered thing to have on just a random item, but it's definitely not necessary at all. But yeah, the true damage dealers is, as always, is gonna be Force, but the Soul Stealers are also doing quite a lot of work here. And yeah, you can see this guy is just yeah, there he goes. So pretty strong. And yeah, I'm super lucky this run. I do have 28% because I've gotten one of those master shrines. You get less expert than adept offers, but you get more. I believe 4% more master. So I am lucky, but like I also have a lot of master plus, so it's not that surprising. But yeah, and as usual, I'm not taking any damage upgrades because yeah, again, damage is pretty shit in this game. And especially since I'm going with the multi-head unique staff that has like 9 to 9 damage. So it's that weapon is definitely not used for auto attacks. And as usual, the only reason, or well, as usual with this build, the only reason I'm attacking is to proc the Warp Strike shards, which in turn gives me Gem High. And of course also because I want to proc the all of the on-hit effects and chance on attacks and stuff, like the Frost Ring and the Soul Stealers and stuff. And then the Soul Stealers in turn, of course, curses enemies, and when cursed enemies dies, I get more damage because of Mayhem, which in this run ends up giving me a whole lot of damage. And yeah, the Frost Ring, as you can see, I have Wintertide and a bunch of shrines that gave me, yeah, you can see there I showed it's 4,700 square. I don't know if that's feet or whatever, but yeah. Did I take evasion there? That's interesting. I always take movement speed. I actually don't know why I took evasion. Maybe I misclicked, I don't know. But yeah, I'm after this video I'm also gonna put in another. Oh yeah, I do find a unique. It's unfortunately only rare, but I do collect them. So I'm editing another video that showcases what happens when you get too much attack speed, which is actually a thing. It must be when you go down to 0.03, because I've had 0.04 and still attacking. But yeah, you'll see. I'm gonna edit it in after this run. And yeah, this wave is just so much experience, but it's also extremely tough. I'm like seriously overpowered right now in this run, so not very hard for this particular run, but otherwise it can be pretty nasty. But yeah, this run is just crazy. I got everything I could possibly want. Uh, and here I'm just forced to take Path of Frost, which is completely whatever, because you don't need anything else if you have what I got in this run. So yeah, I'm just gonna be cruising around here, shrine farming as usual, and I mean, honestly, in this run, if I had nothing, but given that Mayhem could still proc off of Lifelink, like Lifelink would be the only thing I need. Yeah, I have so much extra duration, it lasts 76 seconds, which is pretty crazy. But again, I'm moving all the time, so that doesn't make a difference. I do have Icebound though, which is 120% more damage to frozen targets, but since I have so much spell speed with Gem High and Blight is gonna take care of that for me, shielding enemies that is. So as you can see here, Blight along with Gem High and Wintertide, it's just like it's covering the screen for me anyway. So Path of Frost is just pretty much a dead. God Blessing, it doesn't really do anything. And yes, you could see there the Soul Stealers has 61% chance to fire off, and they last almost 10 seconds, and that's why you can see them just pretty much like looking into a vagina that has just had sex with a penis, if you catch my drift. Post-orgasm uterus is pretty much what we're looking at here. And yeah, I even get Splinter. Yeah, I mean this run just has it all. And it's all Master as well, which is absolutely crazy. I think all's Master, maybe not Gem High. I typically don't get that in Master, but Master would only mean 0.3 more second duration, so it's not necessary. It's more of like a quality of life just to have that last longer between pulls. Oh, I actually missed that that mythic item on the ground. It was so obvious. I guess my mind is elsewhere at the time of recording this. Yeah, another thing I noticed now, that cursed enemies doesn't just mean that they take a little damage right away and become cursed. Apparently the whole deal is that after like 1.6 seconds they take extra damage, and I didn't know that. Which of course makes the Ravens a little bit better than I initially thought they were, but they're still shit. Like, I think I'm gonna show at the end of this how much damage they deal even with all that Mayhem extra damage, and it's just pretty trash. This that I do right here is a huge mistake. There is no more enemies that has barriers, at least I don't think so, not to my knowledge. But yeah, it's a mistake because there's no more barrier enemies, so basically I just debuffed myself. So that's just 50% more damage taken for basically nothing, gaining nothing. Because these enemies don't have barrier, and the boss doesn't have a barrier. And yeah, you can see there I showed 404%, and I'm gonna show again. I think in that short amount of time I gained almost 20% damage. And yeah, that's, if you have anything that curses enemies, definitely pick up Mayhem. That's gonna make you really, really strong. So yeah, and you're gonna see how powerful we are once the Baron spawns, or Dracula, whatever his name is. And there I pick Raven, because what else? And the reason I initially picked Raves is just because I have the Summoner, but I forgot that I didn't have my Dragon, so it was literally giving damage to nothing. So just to have it, just a reason to have Summoner, I picked Ravens, right? That was also a mistake. That was dangerous, because I'm also I have my experience chest on, so I don't have a revival, but it just kind of falls over like that. Let me just fast forward to the end, and here we go, the ending screen, I mean. And as you can see, Soul Stealers were absolutely wrecking shit up. And yeah, as I talked about before, attack damage is pretty much wasted in this build. You can see Warp Strike did. It still did 116,000 damage, but it's not the what you want. And yeah, Force and Blight just being absolute champs. So yeah, and yeah, you see Mayhem ends up giving us 554%. I gotta go now, or my girlfriend is gonna be very mad at me, at herself, because I'm supposed to meet her up. But yeah.